How's it going, guys? It's me, the Tomotaku, here today with the Elucidator, once again, and my return of Netoge episode 5 reaction review. And I know this is going to be part of the catch-up that I'm doing. Basically, if you guys know that I've been taking a break on the channel because of some personal reasons, and I am back, and everything is good and all, thanks for asking. And I had to come back and redo all the things that I have missed on this channel with my anime series and whatnot, with like ReZero, Haifuri, Netoge, because Netoge is pretty good. And now these are going to be really short because I already know what happens next week's episode, technically, because it came out just yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago. And yeah, so everyone's seen this already, but you know, I wanted to give my opinion and thought on this anyway. So Netoge episode 5. So after episode 4, with the appearance of Sete-san, who I totally freaking guessed it was Schwein's friend, and from school, the pink long-haired girl. And basically, you know, there's this whole sort of drama that happens in this episode, which really kind of surprised me. But, you know, it was sort of expected, but it turned out to be something different, which I really liked. And I remember saying in episode 4 that I was sort of getting repetitive on the series, or like how it's always like Akko and Rusian moments, play games, repeat, done sort of thing, right? And in this one, you know, I was like, oh, finally something different happened sort of thing. And you know, that's what I like about this. So in this episode, you know, we have the whole event with Sete-san, and basically how Akko seems to be really jealous of Sete-san, who seems to be really close with Rusian because he was teaching her how to play the game of LA, Lost Age? I don't remember what the game is called. So then eventually in this episode we have a surprising freaking FPS game change where the anime just shows off that, you know, it's like, oh, you want to go play some FPS, whatnot, so like some Call of Duty or something like that. I forgot what the game was called. It was like Call of something, maybe? I don't know. But basically they could play like Call of Duty or Battlefield or something like that, like on PC. And it was pretty interesting, you know. Basically we just sort of saw them playing FPS, and Master sucks at the game because she would get like a freaking bazooka and just shoot the ground and like kill everyone right next to her, even her like Schwein. Akko was a sniper who was pretty cool. Rusian just like knows how to play FPS already because he's a freaking otaku. And it was pretty funny because like Akko was like, I don't know how to play FPS games. Like, oh, it's easy. Just pretend that all the enemies are normies. And I like the term normies, and that was pretty funny, but you know, it's basically what it is. So then afterwards, after their day of playing FPS, the girl asks them in class, like, oh, you guys didn't go to club today? And basically confirms that she was Sete-san, because it's like, oh, you know, I was waiting for you in LA after school was over. I wanted to go play with you guys at your club. And you know, afterwards eventually gets to sort of like a joke thing where she hugs Rusian like really like romantically and sort of like as a couple thing, and then Akko seems pretty jealous and then eventually runs off. And then the next few days, like, she's at home, like not going to school, and then she basically says like, oh, you know, I quit school, I'm gonna go stay home and resurrect or revive or something like, you know, you level to the max and you reincarnate, there you go. So then it's really weird, and I thought that she really was jealous of Sete-san, but then, you know, Schwein was like talking to Rusian. Schwein and Rusian have a really touching moment where, you know, it seems that they could have been in a thing, but, you know, in this thing, I only ship Akko and Rusian. So she's telling her, it's like, you know, like, Akko is not that deceptive, or you're not that sort of low to think that she's jealous or that, you know, you're into the girl, Sete-san. And then eventually, it gets to Rusian handling the problem by going over to her house, Nako's house, seeing her mom, who looks a lot like her, and then eventually going to her room and having this awkward moment where they peep on her, and like, it's really hilarious. But the deal is that it's some real like stuff, and it goes back to Akko and her unique character and her backstory. So basically, it's not that Akko is jealous of Sete-san and her with being with Rusian and whatnot. It's about her in her real life thing and how she has no friends at school and whatnot. And it's like basically talking like, oh, you know, how she has trouble in school, she has no way to like communicate with other students, she has no friends, and all she does over there is play games and whatnot. And this is like real world crisis stuff here, because it is like a thing for her because she can't talk to people, she doesn't have that many friends, and she can't communicate with other people because of how awkward and weird, unique she is compared to other girls, and that's why she's saying these things. And it really does go back to Akko and her unique thing. Like first she's like couldn't compare the game to real life, and then now it's her about her real life story, like the real life trouble of going to school and having a regular life and whatnot, and how she doesn't have friends and all that stuff. And it's, you know, she technically does have friends. She has Master and Schwein, but then like besides them, she doesn't have anything else, and that's what she's like really down upon. And then eventually it comes to a really clever plan where Rusian's like, oh, I've decided to quit school too, and then, you know, Akko's against it, but then it's like, it goes to the same point. It's like, oh, you know, if you can quit school, then why can't I, as your husband? It's like, you know, I gotta do the same thing, and I want to play games with you all day. And, you know, eventually they're talking about the struggles of real life and how it's really difficult, and that's the like real some legit stuff here. I'm just like, damn, this turned hella down. I thought it was about like jealousy of Sete-san, but no, they're talking about like real life struggles and problems of the world and reality. And I was like, damn, this is really good. And eventually, you know, they come to a compromise where it's like, you know, like Akko's confessing. It's like, oh, you know, I can't really make friends with anyone, or I don't know how to talk to anyone, and I'm all alone and stuff at school. And then just like, real life is hard. And then Rustian's like, yeah, it is hard, but that makes it even more fun and challenging. And then basically they come to the compromise, like, you know, if you quit school, then I don't quit school, and then, you know, if I'm going to school and you get to come to school with me, so that we can see Master and Schwein and have fun and whatnot. So it's sort of, it's really cool. And eventually, you know, they bring her in, and yeah, that was the end of it. And, you know, Sete-san is like, oh, Sete-san Sete-san helps Akko make friends, because a lot of the students in Akko's class are really worried about her. They're trying to become friends with Akko, but then Akko doesn't really know how to communicate with others because of her unique thing to see, compare the game to real life, and just because she doesn't really like any other girls like Schwein, who, you know, acts and all stuff. So, you know, that was a pretty good episode, like a really good dramatic episode that really changed the whole flow of the anime. And episode 6 has already come out already, so I already know how that works out, and it's I think that Netoge was first getting repetitive for me, but now it's going to like it's starting to go somewhere, or like not starting to go somewhere, but it's starting to change up its stuff. And I know I said it's gonna be quick, but I think this episode was really good and had that drama was really awesome as well. So anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Subscribe, because I will be posting episode 6's reaction review probably after this one at the same time. And like the video if you enjoyed my little analysis of, you know, the reality and the struggles of life and whatnot, and how Akko was sort of talking about some really good drama stuff, and I really liked this episode. And if you have any comments, questions, and, you know, what do you guys thought about this episode, then leave it in the comment section below, down here, or in my